I think Marcus has let a lot of people down, really, with his attitude, and I think that's what the manager's trying to say. You think of the young players coming through the team, you think of Garnacho, they're looking up to people like Marcus now. He's 26, 27 years of age, and he's clearly not training properly, he's not living his life properly. They're the example that these people should look at, so I think...
We'll get back to Paul in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And also, if you've got something to say, if you need to get something off your chest, whatever it is, don't get a shrink, put it in the comments. I read all of the comments. And in this clip, Paul Scholes is going to be talking about why he thinks Marcus Rashford has let his teammates down. His teammates, not his fans, but his teammates. And Jamie Carragher makes some really astute observations as well, which I 100% agree with. And I'm going to be commenting on these two things and much more after the clip. So please stick around then. Here's Paul.
I think Marcus has let a lot of people down, really, with his attitude, and I think that's what the manager's trying to say. You think of the young players coming through the team, you think of Garnacho, they're looking up to people like Marcus now. He's 26, 27 years of age, and he's clearly not training properly, he's not living his life properly. They're the example that these people should look at. So I think Marcus, look, I remember years ago when I told the manager I didn't want to play in that Arsenal game, the cup game, and the meeting we had afterwards, 2 or 3 days afterwards, and I thought, I'm going to get a right bollock here. He said to me, the worst thing you did is let your teammates down. And that really stuck with me because I wasn't really thinking about that. And now I think Marcus Rashford, he's doing exactly the same. Okay, he's not refusing to play, but in the way he's behaving and the way he's training, in a way, he is saying, I don't want to be involved with these. So I think the fact of letting your teammates down in that dressing room, he should be banished from the dressing room, really. If he's in and around that, and young people are seeing that as an example, the sooner he's gone, the better.
I get frustrated with Rashford, just the amount we talk about him, but we are talking about him, and I'm going to ask you a question about him now. He's a player that it baffles me that he gets talked about as like he's on the move, and I'll read in a paper, it'll say like Barcelona and Real Madrid and PSG, and I'm like, I know he's got a big PR thing behind him, Marcus Rashford. It just feels like this big machine around that's just pumping these stories out about him, about where he's going to go. Is the real interest in Marcus Rashford in some of the biggest clubs in Europe? David?
It is a very tricky situation, and it does seem that relationship is broken. There's also a lot of different...
What's tricky about it?
Well, he's on a massive contract. He's a Manchester United player through and through, born and bred.
He doesn't want to be now, does he?
Well, it wasn't sort of him that initiated this process.
Well, by his behaviour, it is.
It sounds like you're part of the PR machine.
You could say it is, but no. So there are
his behaviour and the way he's acting. Them first couple of games he played for Amorim, it didn't bother his ass.
Well, no, just for the
he's almost telling you.
So just for the balance, not PR.
Balance.
When you speak to people around United, they criticise the training, and Ruben Amorim clearly has taken a dim view on that. And when you speak to people around Marcus Rashford, they say he's training really well, and he's.
Who do you believe they're the manager who's watching the training, or his PR company who don't watch the training?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not privy to the actual evidence on either side. But to answer your specific question, there is interest in him because of his quality that we've seen in the past, and that's why conversations have taken place with the likes of AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund, I think Juventus early on. There was some interest from the Premier League, but I think his decision was that he wanted to go abroad if he's going to move, and his preference is Barcelona. But Barcelona's extremely difficult financially. When you look at their squad, you ask yourself, how much do they need a player like Marcus Rashford? The door has never been closed at United because he's under contract until 2028. And so, that's why I think some of these comments suggesting available for selection and no issue between him and the coach is because, both sides know they might have to go back together.
Sorry, David, is this interest still there? But it seems like it's all...
Right now...
a little bit, is it...
Right now, I don't know of anything being close. And so it brings you back to what we touched upon right at the start when you're thinking about, say, an Nkunku, Garnacho and certain other situations in the market where it could be a deadline day scramble where the biggest problem in the Rashford situation is the finances involved.
I was going to say, what do United want?
Because definitely, if he was more affordable, I think he probably would have made the move by now. Maybe that's one of the factors that United
a loan
want.
move or
A loan move, most likely, just because it's 2028 and when somebody's not playing.
So what would they want then? Would they want like half his wages?
I think initially they would have wanted 100% of his wages covered, in excess of £325,000 a week. But as the market draws towards a close, you're going to, if you desperately want him out, you're going to accept lower. Then the club that's taking him can, as they get desperate with their own footballing circumstances or injuries, say, actually, we can dedicate a bit more money to this, or it's looking even tighter. We're there for him, but we can't even dedicate what we were initially thinking. And then you ask Marcus Rashford, are you willing to take a haircut on your salary? Most players wouldn't, because they've signed their contract and it's their prerogative. How much do you want to get playing elsewhere? How much do you want to work your way back into the plans at Man United? Is that door truly open for you to work your way back in? It's a complete mess, and I can't predict the outcome. I think it would be surprising if something can't be resolved for him to play the second half of the season elsewhere, but because of the finances involved and the complications, there's no guarantee he'll move.
I think he's going to have massive regrets, I genuinely think he's going to have some huge regrets. Like, I don't doubt his love for the club. He's obviously someone that's spent a lot of time at the club, fan of the club and all those kind of things. And maybe he has felt like a scapegoat over the last couple of years, but what we're seeing at the moment is just self-sabotage. Like, the only one he's not going to get. If these clubs don't come in for you, then what? If you're still at Manchester United to the end of the season, then who's going to come in for you in the summer?
Do you think he's sort of fallen out of love with football a little bit? Because it's shone so bright so early in his career, so much attention around him. A lot of it negative in the media, that he's been in the game for so young, still so long, still so young. Do you think he's kind of fallen out of love a little bit?
Well, he's said that he still loves football, he still loves playing football, and I have no doubt, whilst Amorim is saying,
does he?
Yeah, he doesn't look like it. And the manager, his interests are wanting to play. He's not played
well for 3 years and we're still talking about him. That's your point.
Well, he scored 30 goals
you know what
in that period.
When I see... He's what?
He scored 30 goals in
3 years?
No, a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And then he got a new contract.
Which is why we're talking about it. But I think it's a good point you make. He doesn't look like he wants to play football. And I don't know if he thinks going to another club, all of a sudden he's just going to get it back like that. There's no guarantee that will happen.
The thing that frustrates me about him is that we talk about him as much as we talked about Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
And the level of player is just completely different levels. And a lot of it, and I must say this because we're all in the game, the media game, and he's not just the only one. A lot of these top footballers now have these PR machines around them, and it's just constant media stuff getting pumped out. I just think it's very simple. If I knew Marcus, I'd just say, listen, go into training, be early, do your work, train, give there's nothing else, there's no other answer to all these games, and he said this, and the agent said that, and Amarin said this, and all this, it's all bullshit. Just go in and train really hard. That's it. There's no secret. And give absolutely everything. And all this only feeding, and you just said about him scoring 30 goals there straight away. As soon as Scholes, he said something. Now, I'm not saying you're here to defend him. You've given both sides the hang, but I know you're getting information from all this thing. Did you ever have people? Who are these people? Are these players? Who are they? I only had my dad. These people. Just go in and train.
Everyone's
and
got
give it everything
people.
for Man United. You're getting paid 300 grand a week.
Yeah.
All the rest of it just...
The manager would want him to
You know
play
what?
as
You
well.
do that for your own sanity, though, Jamie, because you think, even if I leave, I know I've done it in the right way. I've been in every day. I've still got a chance to play for Man United.
Unbelievable.
I know we're not very good, but still, the last 6 months of the
the
season.
question about whether or not Amarin's handling this issue correctly, I think he absolutely is. Because his truth and his honesty is going to see that vision realised for United. It reminds me a little bit of what...
I think Jamie Carragher, I know he's a controversial figure, and some people don't like him, and that's fair enough, and some people think he's biased and whatnot, but as a Manchester United fan, I think Jamie Carragher hits the nail on the head when it comes to Manchester United every single time. And you can't say he's biased, because, I honestly can't think of a moment where he said something about Manchester United that I've thought, yeah, he's just a former Liverpool player, blah, blah, blah. He hits the nail on the head. In this clip, he says, All Marcus Rashford needs to do is give everything in training. That's it. It's not rocket science. All this tit for tat on social media and stuff, like the manager comes out and says something, and then Marcus comes out and says something, blah, blah, blah. I remember when Marcus came out, initially when he was getting criticised, and he did that YouTube interview, and he was saying that, oh, I love the club, blah, 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 blah. No. The reason he's getting criticised is because he's not putting the effort in. That's it. And we know he's a good player, and we know he can be effective, we know he can score goals, but he doesn't look like he wants to. I don't understand how Marcus doesn't get that. Or maybe he does and he just doesn't care. I don't know. But that's it. That's the only reason Marcus Rashford is getting criticised, is because we know he can do better, but he doesn't do it, and he looks like he doesn't want to be there. That's it. I've seen Man United a few times so far this season. I've turned down a few opportunities because it's grueling work, I tell you. But whenever I've watched Marcus Rashford, he just doesn't look like he cares. He doesn't do anything. He just sort of jogs about. That's it. But if Marcus Rashford put half the effort in, say, Rasmus Højlund puts in, he'd be scoring double figures every season, easily. And I mean, I don't know. Paul Scholes does make an interesting point. Like, you know, he doesn't look like he cares anymore, perhaps, and that's going to another club might not necessarily fix that. Who knows? But then again, I mean, look at it. You know, to give the devil his due, no pun intended, and to play devil's advocate, so to speak. I mean, looking at it from Marcus Rashford's perspective, I mean, he's 27, going on 28. He probably knows he's got one more big contract in him, or half-decent contract anyway, or at the very least, one more shot at winning trophies. See, he's maybe looked at the chessboard, so to speak, at Man United and realised, well, I've went through about 4 rebuilding processes at Manchester United, and it's the same every single time. He got his chance with Louis van Gaal. That went tits up. He went with Mourinho, won a couple of things with Mourinho. That nosedived. Then it was Ollie, same thing happened there. Then it was Ranić briefly, nothing happened there. Then it was Erik ten Hag, same thing. And he's probably tired, and he's probably bored. He's probably fed up of the criticism. And he probably just wants to get out of a toxic atmosphere as well. That might be something to do with it. And the fact that he's not saying that, maybe that's a credit to him. It'd be interesting to have a conversation with Marcus, because maybe that's it. Because sometimes us fans, we can have the blinkers on a little bit, and it'll be like, oh, everyone needs to be behind the cause, everyone needs to fight for the badge, blah, blah, blah. You know, we've all got that inner Roy Keane inside of us, almost. And when a player doesn't put the effort in, we're like, oh, you know, we castigate him and all of that. But Marcus has been there a while now, and it probably seems like deja vu for him, and he's seen everything that's going on. He's probably fed up with Erik ten Hag, and he's looked at Amorim, and Amorim's probably bearing down on him and all of this, and he thought, you know what, this is just more of the same. Maybe I fancy a new challenge, and he maybe wants to go to a club that's a little bit more organised, a little bit more positive, a better team, and see if he can do quite well there. Because, I mean, to be fair, wherever he does end up going, he'll probably will pick up and start playing well. Because sometimes you just need a break. And maybe that's it. And it clearly is, in this situation, time for Man United and Marcus Rashford to part ways. And if we can get some money for him, and I've even heard today that he's even willing to take a pay cut to get his dream move to Barcelona. And he'll do a job over there. I mean, he'll do a job. Whether or not he'll be world class remains to be seen. But I think he'll do a job. So maybe that's got something to do with it, you know. But I mean, Jamie Carragher again has made a good point. You know, we're talking about Marcus Rashford all the time. I mean, and I've made videos on him, and and some of my videos about Marcus Rashford have got a lot of views. But he's right. You know, they're talking about Marcus Rashford as if he's Wayne Rooney. He ain't no Wayne Rooney. He has never been that good. Wayne Rooney was a complete centre-forward. He was magnificent. He didn't have a flaw in his game as a centre-forward. He was fantastic. Marcus Rashford isn't that. He's very good at one or two things, and he's very good at one or two things, as in he can finish and he's fast. Fair enough, but he ain't no Wayne Rooney. You can put Wayne Rooney in any team and he'll do well, but Marcus Rashford, that's not the case. But yeah, it's time to move on from this Marcus Rashford circus. Get some money for him, and get him off the wage bill, and get some attackers in with a bit of pace that have got some fresh legs, fresh eyes, fresh motivation, and help this team kick on. But what do you guys think? I mean, do you think Marcus Rashford is right to want to leave Manchester United? Do you think he's suffered enough? You know? Because think about it in your day-to-day job, like in the office or on the building site or wherever it is you work. Maybe you work online or whatever, I don't know. But if you were working in a toxic environment, would that affect your motivation to come into work? You know? But then again, you know, there's the working class perspective. Well, I would work in the most toxic environment known to man if I was getting paid £325,000 per week to kick a ball on a pitch. So there's that component. But anyway, I thought I'd give a little different perspective in this video. But anyway, what do you guys think? I want to see and read your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.